If Zack Snyder had his way, we'd be seeing a brand new Batman at the end of his Justice League trilogy. Zack Snyder's Justice League dropped yesterday on HBO Max, and it is filled with a ton of details setting up events in future movies. Oh yeah, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen all 4 hours of the new Justice League just yet. Halfway through the Snyder Cut, we have a scene with Lois Lane in her apartment, alone. Superman had died just a few months earlier fighting Doomsday, and she's obviously missing him. In a drawer, there's a quick glimpse of a pregnancy test, and judging by the title of this video you're watching right now, it's probably positive. Now fast forward to the end, and Bruce and Clark are at the Kent farmhouse. Before we leave the scene, Bruce casually says, "Congratulations, by the way." We can infer from this and from the pregnancy test that Lois is pregnant with Clark's baby. Now, how does this lead to a new Batman? Speaking to Vanity Fair, Zack Snyder explained his original vision for the DCEU, in which there would have been a Justice League trilogy of films ending with Batman's death. From what's seen in the nightmare sequence in Batman v Superman and at the end of the Snyder Cut, we know that the DCEU big bad, Darkseid, eventually wins and turns Earth into a hellscape. In this future, Lois Lane was placed under the protection of Batman, who fails at his job. Lois dies, and a grieving Superman eventually sides with Darkseid against humanity. There's some time travel shenanigans involved where what's left of the Justice League make a plan to go back in time and save Lois. However, in doing so, Batman makes the ultimate sacrifice. However, by preventing the nightmare future, Lois and Clark are free to raise their non-superpowered son, Bruce Kent. Speaking with Vanity Fair, Snyder said, quote, he doesn't have any powers, and then he was going to end up being the new Batman. 20 years later, on the anniversary of Batman's death, they take young Bruce Kent down to the Batcave and they say, your Uncle Bruce would have been proud if you did this. End quote. Wow, okay, and I thought it was a lot that my parents wanted me to be a lawyer. Unfortunately, we'll likely never see that version of things play out in the DCEU, as Zack Snyder's Justice League is not considered canon with the overall movie universe. But Warner Brothers hasn't yet announced what they're doing with the Justice League franchise in the wake of the theatrical cut's tepid reception. Future DC live-action movies seem to be focused on individual heroes and one-off stories, one-shots for you comic book nerds out there, with the exception of The Suicide Squad, which is a team movie. But that is positioned as a reboot as much as it is a sequel to the 2016 Suicide Squad. So, what do you think? Have you watched the new 4-hour Justice League yet? And should Warner Brothers disregard Joss Whedon's version and move forward with a sequel to the Snyder Cut? Or should DC focus on the individual heroes and keep things separate from now on? What about Terry McGinnis and Batman Beyond? Can anyone acknowledge this future Batman show that I like? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you on the next IGN Now.